I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Good afternoon and happy Friday. It is the Total Apex NBA Bets and Fantasy Show. I am Dusty. We are going to dive right into this and recap what happened yesterday in the NBA slate. We sort of missed our morning show today, but have no worries. We're going to get you caught up on what happened on the court last night. The Celtics got upset by the Mavs, 120 to 127. Klay Thompson led the team with 25 points. The Timberwolves handled business against the Rockets, 127 to 114. The Nuggets downed the Magic, 112 to 90. The Trailblazers got it done against the Kings, 108 to 102. The Lakers continued their winning ways, 120 to 112 over in-state rival Golden State. And to close out the night, we've seen the Pacers clip the Clippers, 119 to 112. We have 7 games today. We're going to jump right in, help you win some cash. But before we do, want to give a big shout out to Sorcerer Matt, who has been following our show and took down the 3K piggy bank last night on FanDuel. Look, you guys, anytime you can take a nickel and turn it into $125, it's a good night at the office. So, jumping right into it. The Spurs traveled to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. They're coming in at minus 500. This is a game that I really have a little bit of mixed feelings on. I'm leaning toward the Spurs on this, but I do not like the spread. The money line is a little bit too high to really make any profit, so I'm probably going to steer away from this game in aspects of the betting. But when it comes to the fantasy, that's a different ball game. We will be looking at, obviously, the studs of the game. Victor Wembanyama, obviously averaging 54.5 fantasy points per game. LaMelo Ball is questionable for this game. Mikal Bridges, De'Aaron Fox. Devin Vassell is a player that I probably would get a little bit of exposure to in this. I'm not sold with the Chris Paul. He's too wishy-washy at this point. I am digging Harrison Barnes in this. I know he's kind of been up and down, but at 21 fantasy points per game and rocking at that 5K, definitely going to take him in this matchup. Make sure you guys drop a comment. Make sure you guys leave us whatever you can. But moving on into a slaughter. The Cavs come in at a whopping minus 1,800 as they travel to the nation's capital to battle the Wizards. Look, I'm not sold. The money, this is another Spurs and Hornets situation. I think the spread is a little too high. The Wizards somehow or another have been able to find a way to win lately, which sort of concerns me from a betting aspect. But the minus 1,800, there's just no value there. From a fantasy aspect, I do like Max Strus in this one. I also would get a little bit of exposure due to the price tag of 4,700. Ty Jerome. I'm just looking through the list here. I called it last time. If you're looking at the studs, obviously we know Donovan Mitchell is questionable. Shout out to Lawson Turner, who called Evan Mobley the other day, and I think I'm going to write him again today. Darius Garland. Jordan Poole is somebody for the Wizards that, despite being an underdog the way that they are, I am definitely going to be getting some exposure to him. Yeah, make sure you guys drop it. Andrew Kim, I think I see like 2 to 3 decent games for tonight's slate at best, but Hawks, Bucks, definitely the barn burner to watch. I think I agree with you, bub. I think I agree with you. Um, moving into the Heat. No, we're moving kind of fast here. Only 5 minutes in, but in and out. A lot of people don't like it, but it's Friday. We just want to get some cash in your pocket and get going. All right. So this game intrigues me. All right. This is sort of the Heat without Jimmy Butler, minus 230 on the road against Brooklyn. We all know Brooklyn has had its struggles this year, but I don't know how the Heat are going to respond without Jimmy Butler. I mean, it's different when he's suspended and he's still on the team, but what is this team's psyche now that they've lost their superstar? So I'm not saying that the Heat ain't going to win. I'm definitely rolling with the Heat money line in this one. I still don't like how big of a gap it is, but at the end of the day, they are the way better team out of the two, even though they are on the road. I think Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Cameron Johnson, D'Angelo Russell, and Kalel Ware, if I'm saying that right, are solid starts in this game. Nick Claxton is a person that I will be targeting. I do think that him and Bam Adebayo are going to battle in the hole. If he is active, because I know that he is questionable, Nikola Jovic, I do like him in this matchup. I also like Keon Johnson. The Ben Simmons thing, for those of you guys that are not up to date on the news, Ben Simmons is looking at a contract buyout, and he is supposed to be meeting with the Cavs and the Clippers later this week. So the 76ers, the Nets and Ben Simmons are looking at a contract buyout. So I don't know if he's even going to be active in this one. Zaire Williams is another solid start. And of course, you can never go wrong with the wily veteran Terry Rozier. That's about good. I don't want to go too far into depth with it, you know what I mean? But on to the next game. The Bucks come in at minus 225 in Atlanta, plus 5.5. This is a game that we all know it could go either way. Me personally, I think this is a pick'em game for me. I will be looking at keeping an eye on the injury reports as Giannis, Damian, Trae Young, Kyle Kuzma, Brooke Lopez, and Bogdan Bogdanovic are all questionable for this game, and Clint Capella is out. We all know that DeAndre Hunter is no longer in Atlanta as he was traded off. So this is going to be an interesting game. I do like the Bucks in this. And I think this is my risk it for the biscuit kind of call. I do think that the Bucks are going to win by more than 5.5. I'm not scared to bump it up to 7.5. Even though they are on the road, I know what Trae Young brings to the table, but we don't even know if he's active. If he is active and everybody is active in the game, then I am definitely just going to ride money line on this and hope and pray that the Bucks don't choke. But a little bit of station identification. We got 12 viewers in the room. Make sure that you guys head over to social media, hit that like, subscribe, and follow. We'll be right back in 27 seconds. All right. Welcome back. Moving on to the next game. This one is probably going to be in my opinion, one of the best games of the night. We got the 76ers at minus 175, taking on a young Pistons team at plus 4. This is one of those games that we're not too sure. Joel Embiid is in this one. Cade Cunningham is questionable. Tobias Harris, Beasley, Drummond, and Grimes all questionable. But here's where I'm going with this. The X factor is Tyrese Maxey. That's all that needs to be said. Tyrese Maxey is the heart and soul of the 76ers team. I know everybody's going to say, oh, what about Joel Embiid? Yes, but it's a Batman and Robin kind of scenario with those two. I love the 76ers in this game. I'm definitely taking the minus 175. I just don't think that anybody on the Pistons, including Jalen Duren, are going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Joel Embiid. I'm not scared of this spread either. I also will bump that up a couple points. I'm not scared of taking it at 6 or even a 7. This is going to be a good game, but at the end of the day, this is a Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Don't get me wrong. Cade Cunningham is going to do his thing, but I got to have faith in Philly on this one. Obviously, we've already discussed some of the studs of the game that we need to be targeting, trying to fit into our lineups, the Cade Cunningham, Embiid, Maxey, George. Below that, I definitely would get a little bit of exposure to Kelly Oubre Jr., Jalen Duren. If he's active, I do like Asar Thompson, depending on how the injury report plays out, because if in fact Tobias Harris and Beasley are both out, that could open the door for Asar Thompson to get a little bit more playing time. But yeah, this is a game that is probably one of the best on the slate. As you will see, there are some very lopsided games on the slate. I'm just going to level with you. This is a game you're just going to want to stay away from. I mean, there's really the 20 seems too much, even though the Thunder have been dominating lately. I know they're getting Chet Holmgren back, but it's still unknown of how much playing time he's going to get, what role he's going to play, considering how well OKC has played all year up to this point. The 20, even though the Raptors are way overmatched in this, anytime you are talking professional teams, 20 is a big number. And there is absolutely no value at minus 2,400 for the Thunder money line. So this is a game from a betting standpoint that I'm just going to be steering clear of. I will be targeting this game for player props with SGA, and there's a couple Jaren Jackson Jr. Player props that I like from a fantasy standpoint. Obviously, we know the studs. Definitely SGA. I think Scotty Barnes is a player that at 9,100, he's a little on the high end of the salary, but he's averaging 44.2 fantasy points per game. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. I'm fading Chet tonight. And I know people are going, man, you're crazy. He's going to come out and light it up. He very well may do that. But when you don't have any stats to back up anything of what he's done this year due to the injury and the rehabilitation, I prefer to see him on the court before I just go throwing him in a lineup. Okay. RJ Barrett is out. Isaiah Hartenstein is a solid play. Emmanuel Quickly is a player that I will have some exposure to for Toronto. Somebody's got to be scoring, and I think that he could be one of them. And I also really like Lou Dort for OKC in this game. He's sort of been sneaky good, and at 4,600, when he's averaging over 21 fantasy points per game, that's the kind of players that I like in a value spot. On to the last game of the day. The Jazz plus 8.5 going into Phoenix minus 360. I like the Suns in this. I think Devin Booker should be able to get it done. The Jazz are young and scrappy. We all know that. But I am rolling with the Suns at home money line to get it done. This is KD is going to be KD. Devin Booker, he's coming off sort of a dud. I will be firing him up in my fantasy lineups tonight just because of the matchup. Outside of KD and Devin Booker, I will not be looking too much more into this game from a DFS standpoint. That's just a personal preference. There are some studs in the game. There are some val plays. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at more or less where I'm going to find value in more lopsided matches that the starters may get an opportunity to rest, such as the Cavs at minus 1,800. It's going to, if they jump out to a big lead, that is why I won't be targeting Donovan Mitchell, because if they get to that big of a lead, I can see them giving their starters a rest. The same thing in OKC. All right. So on to the lock of the day. Obviously, you guys already know where I'm going with this. I think that I'm locking in the 76ers. They are by far the better team out of the two. Joel Embiid is in, and he himself should be able to put up a double-double. From a fantasy standpoint, I think I'm just going to target Maxey and Embiid stack, because I know it sounds chalky, but there's so many different value plays that it's hard to decipher where else to go. But when you're talking about your stud of the days, I think that Maxey and Embiid have the best opportunity to capitalize. And plus, you're getting a stack, which opens up more space in other games. So, but again, you guys, it is Friday. We wanted to get something on the air. We wanted to make sure everybody was happy. We wanted to make sure we got you guys a little bit of advice out there. We know what we're doing. People are cashing. Follow the numbers. But until Monday morning, stay tuned. But for right now, you guys have a great weekend. Make sure you guys stay safe and have a great weekend. Peace.